Now, I don't know about you, but I've seen dozens of YouTubers talking about how YouTube is now on easy mode and that everybody should be starting a channel in 2025. So I wanted to create a video on this and talk about 5 reasons why potentially YouTube is on easy mode for some people, the reasons behind that, and obviously the things that are still going to be difficult for other people. So let's talk about point number 1, which is obviously the YouTube algorithm. Now, YouTube has created an entire dedicated team to helping small YouTubers grow on the platform. They want to make sure that new creators can grow faster than they previously could. In the past, things like tapping into browse traffic and suggested traffic and homepage traffic really was something only reliably big channels could do. So big channels always had an unfair advantage where small channels had to really chip away at trying to send traffic from outside, from Facebook and other social media platforms to get the first few views, maybe trying to get some long tail search terms to rank so they could get a little bit of traffic that way, and then eventually get pushed out a little bit as they grew for the browse and suggested traffic that everybody wants, the big part of YouTube, the 70 to 80% of views on the platform that comes from recommended. They realized it was just too difficult for small channels, and with sort of 94% of channels not even being monetized, they really want to make sure that small channels are going to gain more of an advantage in that sense. So you may have seen that there's been a lot more small new channels being suggested in your homepage. Now, this may feel a bit chaotic at times as YouTube starts suggesting lots of random things for no apparent reason. But this is part of the process of them sharing out more smaller channels to give you more impressions, to give you that opportunity, even as a new channel, to explode with even your first video potentially. But it at least means that you're going to get more of the pie without having to tap into search traffic. Now, there's pros and cons to this because if you're a bigger channel, then you've probably seen a dip in your views. I know I have, and I've been monitoring other larger channels, and they're having to produce more content to keep up with the same number of views. Now, this is for a number of reasons as far as I can tell. The first is if YouTube is going to be sharing out more content of smaller channels, then obviously that reach, that space has to be given up by someone. So obviously the larger channels are having to give up some of that real estate to give that space to the smaller and up-and-coming channels. So they are, of course, going to suffer. They're going to get less. They had a bigger piece of the pie, and now they don't have that large piece of the pie. They don't rule. They're not kings anymore. Also, the algorithm has gotten smarter in the way that it suggests content. Now, I don't know if this is directly related, but the way that they recommend content is more for the avatar now. So you'll notice that in the past, if you've done YouTube before, you've seen channels, they would suggest all of the content from a channel that you may be following. So they would always push out more of your content to your subscribers and people that were interested in it. But now it looks at the actual content on the channel and decides if it's relevant for the individual subscriber or viewer. So this means that they're not going to share all of your content to each person because they may look at it and go, I don't think this person is going to be interested in this particular video. That means that it's more important than ever to be making sure that your content is for one particular avatar. So niche and more targeted channels that really focus on the individual are going to succeed more. So I've also seen more generalist channels struggle to get more views. And that's again because they can't just get that initial push as much from their subscriber base, as not every person is going to like that video, and the algorithm is going to decide in advance perhaps that they don't believe that each person is going to like that particular topic. So if you're a generalist channel, you're going to divide your audience, and the algorithm itself is going to decide, it's not going to show everything out. So almost in a way, subscribers are dead in my opinion. I think it's a vanity metric now for getting the play sign. It's all about relevancy, satisfaction, and trying to please your core audience for engagement and everything else. So you want watch time, you want returning viewers, you want engagement, comments, and likes and everything else. So that means you're going to be pleasing that one particular person. Now, that's not to say that you get pigeonholed, but it does mean that you need to understand everything more. You need to become a psychologist, really. You have to understand what they want from watching your videos and the deeper level of the why they're watching your videos. So it could just be entertainment, but if they're trying to learn something, what's the outcome and goal? Speak a little bit more to that versus just here's a how-to video on this. here's more how-to videos. I make fitness videos for fitness people. But the question is why? So this is why I've been talking about a lot about new ways of vlogging and the sort of bringing in real life and other types of point of views and opinions and everything else to your videos more, so you can connect with that person more. So it's a bit like going to a party and connecting with people on a one-to-one basis. You want to find more people that you're going to connect with. And the next point means that this, of course, works both ways. So if you're a larger channel trying to grow, you're going to have to do that, and you're going to struggle to get views now. But again, if you're a smaller channel and you're up and coming and you're benefiting from this initial boost, then you're going to have to not get too distracted with trying to create varieties of different types of content. You need to stick to what worked in the beginning and keep doing that. You're actually going to be better off starting another channel rather than doing everything and having a jack of all trades channel. So you need to learn from what the bigger channels are suffering from. But again, because it's easier to start a channel than ever, you can have more than one channel now and actually speak to different topics. And so you could grow potentially 2 channels. Let's say you could do 3 to 4 videos per week. You could make, or even 2. If you had 2 topics you wanted to speak about, you could grow 2 channels at the same time. Now, I always recommend starting with one and making that successful first. But the moment you want to do something else, just start another channel. In my opinion now, that conversation is over. Unless there's a reason for you to hold on to an old dead channel, there's no purpose to it anymore. Because, as I said, subscribers are vanity metrics. They're pointless now. So it's just going to be dead weight dragging you along with bad metrics and data that YouTube is looking at for and rating your videos on. So you're better off starting a new channel, basically, unless you feel like those subscribers really bring something to the need of your channel. But otherwise, honestly, it slows you down these days. So you're better off having multiple channels. Now, the other reason it's easier and better than ever to start on YouTube is because of AI. Because of AI and all of these tools and everything else. Now, AI allows us to edit. I use tools like Descript, and I can edit things super quickly, just like it's a text document. You can use AI voices if you want. You can use AI imagery, AI videos. You can do so much with AI. Now, I'm not a massive fan of faceless content at the moment, unless you're going to do very high quality videos. I used to do this a lot, but now the issue is what comes easy becomes the new base mark, the new base level. That is the new benchmark, should we say, the minimum amount standard that you've got to go for. So faceless, you need to do a lot more to stand out now, I believe. So this is why the new meta for me is being more branded and more on camera, because people are craving that extra level, which we'll get into in a second. But the benefit of AI and all of these things is that you can use things like ChatGPT to help brainstorm and come up with better ideas and fill out your content a bit. It makes the process much, much easier. You don't have to do all of the thinking yourself, all the creativity. You've got all of this information. It's also pulling out what's working right now. There's so many research tools that show you what's working. They even just tell you, just do this video. They can even generate thumbnails and everything else. So creating videos is much, much easier now. You don't need advanced equipment. That's the next point. So again, it's easier from a tech point of view. I'm using a webcam. I'm plugging straight into my computer. But if I go out and about, you could just literally use your phone, or you could use your, all the new sort of action cams. The quality is so high now that most people watch on their, unless you're doing like a fancy type of video. Yes, TV is coming up, but the majority of people still watch on their phones to this day. And that's a small screen. It's a small screen. So you don't necessarily need to be creating highly polished film level recordings in 4 to 8K. No one's going to watch in 4K. They're streaming online. So chances are it's not even going to be, 1080p. It's going to be low level recordings. So all of these cameras record at more than enough level, even the action cameras. The quality is more than good enough. So you don't need all of this massive fancy equipment that's expensive and like you need to carry around and learn how to use it. You don't need any of this anymore. So you can keep things as simple as possible. So technology is making YouTube easier than ever. And that brings me on to the next point, which is people are craving authentic content. So the backlash to all of this AI and everything else is that people want more genuine, authentic content. They want to know into people's lives. Reality TV has always been successful because we like to see into other people's lives. We like to see what's going on. But we also like the day-to-day. It feels comforting. We like the warmness of that. So the mundane can be incredibly interesting. But we want the simple type of content. We want to go back 20 years to the YouTube of before for simple vlogging content. So this is, again, what makes it even easier in 2025 for you, because rough, simple, fast, unedited, unscripted videos are working better than ever. So you can literally just pull out your phone now, and if you've got an interesting topic you want to talk about, then you can just record. And that type of content is potentially going to do incredibly well. Now, I've created videos on this, and I will link to them in the description or at the end, that talks about this style more. Or you can get access to our free 30-day YouTube growth challenge, which will take you through this process completely. It's completely for free. I will put links in the video description to where you can get that. And that will take you through all of the training and the steps that you need to get started on YouTube and to tap into these simpler strategies for growing your channel. But it's easier than ever because people just want simple content. Now, there is a structure to this, as I just said, but the benefit is that you don't have to create Mr. Beast-style, highly edited videos, and most people are actually getting tired of this. There will always be space for the faceless and the AI. I think especially in short form, you're going to see a lot more of that coming along. And I think AI will really take over the short form content because there's going to be a lot more changes there that I'm going to talk about coming soon. So there are benefits to short form. But for the most part, vlog style channels and the long form content is still where the money is. And the simpler, the better these days. So that makes things even easier for you as well getting started. So if you've been on the fence about growing a YouTube channel, then 2025 is the year to do it. With that said, as I mentioned before, you can get more free training by clicking the link in the video description. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you inside the next one.